I'm going to do an insight video again today, and over the last couple of days, um, I've been sort of like being connected more again into source, like source vibration, source frequency, and the eternal moment, and looking at time and looking at how we sort of like look at our experience and our reality through frequency and time. And this relates obviously to the fifth dimension, which is about the energetic dimension of creation. And this is how we start to move into like the sixth dimension related to source creator. And so looking at the 3D reality, it's looking at sort of this sense of letting go, this sense of sort of releasing and moving past the 3D blueprint and the 3D consciousness, which a lot of us are caught up in this sense of seeing the external reality as the true reality, when really the 5D reality is the infinite reality, and that's the doorway. When we start sort of like realizing and sort of becoming conscious of the fifth dimension, we start to become conscious of creation. So one sort of like the 3D reality is this sense of sort of feeling like there's a lack of power or a lack of sort of like control. And when you sort of like move into the fifth dimension, you move past that and you realize that there's an infinite, there's creation, there's that creative sort of potential within each moment, within each second. And you start to realize that creation is within your sort of essence, within your vibration, within your source energy. You start to realize that you can co-create and you can create a reality, and it's about creating vibrations and frequencies that are constantly within this eternal moment, this eternal frequency, this eternal vibration, which is again the oneness vibration. And we start to realize that through that frequency, there's this infinite possibilities and this infinite potential. I've also sort of like, it's like connecting into your infinite being as well. There's your infinite source being, and it's about opening this channel to this consciousness, to this infinite flow, this infinite source flow of energy and light and vibration and frequency that's available to each and every one of us. When we start to open up to our essence and we open up to our source creator and our source vibration, we start to realize there's an infinite flow of information, of wisdom and understanding that can be applied in a practical way to our lives, to our reality. And it's about sort of just dissolving and moving through it. There's definitely a shifting going on at the moment. I've felt this over the last couple of days. And it's like a shift in consciousness where you move away. Like people talk about love and they talk about peace and they talk about harmony. These are vibrations and frequencies, and they've been talked about for so long, because the wisdom of them is the understanding that everybody has their own reality, everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own sort of frequency and their own vibration. But they're also it's learning not to become attached to that. It's a learning not to judge or to sort of yeah judge or to have a sort of an opinion on things, because the infinite reality and the infinite source energy and vibration and frequency, when you're in that, it's not about that. It's about like a oneness vibration, but it's also it's the understanding and it's having the wisdom to release things. And releasing is a really key thing to moving from the shifting from 3D reality to 5D reality, because the 3D reality we tend to hold on to things, and we feel like the 3D reality is this sort of like true reality, and we become sort of attached to it, we become entrenched in it. And when you move into the 5D reality of energy and vibration and frequency, but also the infinite flow of that source energy, that source vibration, you start moving past things. You release them. You don't you don't hold on to them. And again, this is a part of the wisdom of the infinite eternal moment. Also, it's about sort of like not living, living, not living in the future, not living in the past, but being in a state of being right here, right now, in this frequency, and knowing that from this frequency, all creation in this eternal moment. All creation is sort of manifested. It's created from that moment, and this is what has been coming through to me over the last couple few days. They've been sort of like, I feel like there's been like this dialogue, or this sort of through my energy and my vibration, that is telling me to, because like we all sort of like become sort of in this sort of like in this state of reality on the physical plane. It's very easy to be sort of always looking forward, or always sort of like being sort of like transported to the future, and looking at, you know, what's coming up and all the things that we've got to do, and all the things we've got to sort out, and all the things we've got to sort of like organize and plan, and when we start to do that, then we lose the potential in the moment, in the eternal moment. So it's about moving past that, and it's also like when you start going into the fifth dimension, it's not so much about thoughts. It's more about sort of states of being, states of consciousness, and this is where the vibrations come from. So it's about trying to be in like not in an altered state, but it's like being into a state of vibration, a state of frequency, where you're in your energy, and you're not really necessarily trying to create from an intellectual place, but you're creating from a state of being, a state of vibration and frequency. So it's like a shifting in that as well. So over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of that going on for me. There's a lot of like releasing. There's a lot of like moving. Stop sort of like holding on, and stop sort of like looking to the future or looking to the past, but trying to be more in the present. And this is what the power of presence is all about. It's being in a state of being where vibration and frequency, where you're in your energy, and when you're in that energy, then there's infinite sort of like opportunities at any time to release, dissolve things, and then create like a new vision, a new vibration, a new frequency. And as I feel in this energy, and I'm talking about this, that there's like a vibrancy to it, because in that energy you're feeling like there's no barriers, there's no restrictions. There's only this infinite sort of vibration, this infinite frequency that you can access. And this is the source energy and the source vibration again. And this is obviously the universal law of correspondence, the universal law of law of attraction, you know, perpetual transmutation, the law of rhythm. All these kind of things are about vision. They're about sort of like vibration, frequency, of the universal law of vibration and oneness. So in this moment, and in this time, in this specific sort of vibration and frequency, this is what I feel we're being drawn to at the moment, is sort of like releasing, and when we release, then we open a new door of consciousness, we open a new door of understanding and awareness to start to receive, the flow of this infinite, source energy that is around every one of us, that is accessible to each and every one of us. I'm trying to talk about this in a practical way, because it's great sort of like talking about vibration and frequencies and states of being, but what does that feel like? You know, how do you access that? You know, it depends on what kind of level of consciousness that of your reality, of your being is at this time. So it's about a starting point, and it's about stepping onto that sort of like that path, and like opening that door to a different state of awareness and a different state of consciousness, to start to apply it more practically within your life. And you know, and this is what it's, and this is the starting point, is the universal law of correspondence, where you start to go within to access that infinite source, but that you also then start to feel vibration and frequency within your energy field, and then you start to co-create with that. You start to use those vibrations and frequencies. I mean, practice, you know, if you have a moment in your life where something comes and it's sort of like you feel your vibration lower because there's an experience or an event that is come along where it's created fear, or it's created concern, or it's created doubt or anxiety or stress, and then practice, sit in your energy and your vibration, your frequency, and practice shifting that consciousness, shifting that vibration to a different vision or a different state of awareness. It could be sort of like shifting and dissolving something. So if there's a fear, doubt, worry, shift it to something that has a different outcome, where it's where there's an opportunity, or there's like, or you shift it to see it in a different way. So like if a person says something to you that is derogatory, or it affects you or impacts you, then shift it and try and see what you can create in that moment for yourself. Creating your moment in that moment through vibration and frequency, that you can create a different outcome where you dissolve it, or you see it in a different way, and see how that vibration sort of feels, and how it sort of like resonates with you. Because this is part of the key of it. It's like every day I go into work, there's stress and there's anxiety. So like I work and I manage and I work in a complex needs service with individuals with complex needs, and there's many things that happen, like with the staff team and stuff like that. There's many challenges that come up, things that I'm not prepared for, and then I have to shift, dissolve it, and then move past it, and try and create a different vibration frequency for a different outcome. And when you're doing that, then that's part of the co-creative sort of like vibration frequency, where you shift and move beyond it, you dissolve it. And this is part of what Saint Germain's teaching was talking about with like the violet flame, and he's talking about sort of like dissolving, releasing things, and then sort of like what you start to do is then you start to create a different frequency, and through that you do that through sort of like having the wisdom to realize that whatever's come up is transient. It's like a fleeting sort of thought or feeling, and the impact is a fleeting thing. What creates it and makes it reality is when you attach to it and you add energy to it. When you add energy to something, to that vibration or that experience, then it becomes reality. So it's about shifting that reality quickly and adding energy to something that you want to experience, not something that you feel that is happening to you. So it's like trying to look at these things in a practical way of using them, because they've all got to be a starting point. It's no, we're not all going to go straight to oneness, and we're not all going to go straight to accessing our inner source creator. There's levels of dissolving that we have to go through. There's levels of releasing that we have to go through to get to that state, of being where we can start to live in source living and live in source harmony, and that infinite source creator. But we have to go through levels to get there. So I would say try and practice in a practical way, and use vibration and frequency in a way that you can shift and change your own reality, starting with you, by starting with your thoughts, feelings, and events and experiences that happen that impact you, and then shift them to a new reality or a new outcome through your awareness. But know that you have vibration and frequency, which is the building blocks of all creation within you, and you have the ability to access that. So you have the ability to co-create a reality, and to access an infinite flow of energy that you can shift and change whatever's occurring to you. And that's the insight for today.